Good morning. Good morning and happy Monday. I'm super excited to be here today and just making sure everything is working properly here. Throw me a comment, a wave, whether you're on Facebook or Instagram. Let me know who's here. Good to see you guys. Um, I'm happy to be here this morning. Have a lot to talk about today and always a short period of time, right? So, all right, I see my people filing on an Instagram, Facebook, all is well in the world. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. Hi, Benny. Good to see you. Um, all right, guys, today I want to talk about, hi, Derek. I want to talk about operational efficiencies. That's what I want to talk about. Um, and the processes that we use to create a smooth running business. So um, I know when I go to work, I want to know what to expect, right? I want to know that when I walk in, um, there's in our business, this might not be in every business, there's somebody to meet and greet me at the front. I hear the phones ringing, people are answering the phones in a certain way. These are just the expectations based on how we run our businesses, right? That we have a dress code. So I know that people will be dressed in a certain way. There's a certain way we open and get ready and prepare for our day. So these are all things that they don't happen on accident, right? They don't happen because everybody wakes up and decides to do this same thing, right? Because everybody wakes up and wants to come to work and they really have their own way that maybe they want to open their day or they want to process. But when you run a business and you want it run a certain way and you want it operating at a really high level, there are operational efficiencies and processes that need to be in place in order for you to come in and have your expectations met. And if those processes or systems are tied to the level of customer service that you are promising, if they're tied to your promise, because it's hard to make a promise to your customers and to the community if you don't have um, systems or operations set up to ensure that those promises actually happen. Does that make sense? So, so today I want to talk about like what if your business isn't running the way you want it to run? What if you walk in and you're frustrated? What if you keep getting frustrated? What if you keep expecting people to show up in a certain way and they're not showing up in that way? And I'm not sure if that's ever happened to you. I don't know if that's ever happened to you. It's happened to me that I've shown up in my business. I'm like, wait, what? What happened here that was not in my expectation because it's not how we either usually operate or not the way I want to operate. So I don't know if there's anything in your business right now that you could think of that you aren't happy about and that you might feel frustrated around. Think about that for a minute. And if you're thinking of something and it comes right to your mind, throw it in the comments. And like, what's the thing that you're like, I wish this just wasn't happening, or I wish something was happening, but it's not. And I keep thinking about it and it's bugging me and I don't know how to change it. What is that one thing that's coming up for you? Because um, when I'm working with my coaching clients, which is many days out of the week and many hours out of the week, I have a good amount of clients. Um, Good morning, Con. Hi, Lorraine. Oh, Laura decided to join the call today. Great. Good to see you. Renee, good to see you guys. I saw Ginger on here. So I'm seeing a lot of y'all piping in and coming in. And so I want you guys, if you're just coming in, to think about what is the thing in your business that you wish was different? Is it that people are coming in on time? Is it that the dress code, people aren't following the dress code? Is it that Okay, Jennifer, people are calling out sick or wanting time off? Okay, is it that there's backroom gossip? Is it like, what are those things that you think of right off the top of your head that it bothers you or makes you feel frustrated? So I'll just say that when I'm working with my clients, I hear these things a lot, right? And so either my clients come in super frustrated and angry, sometimes they are in tears because they just feel so deflated. And what I'm listening for in between the words, right, is is there a process? Was there a process that failed, and maybe there was a process around this issue prior, or maybe there was never a process built to support this thing that you do or don't want to be happening? Brenna says, helping with daily chores, quote unquote, people say it's not my job. Great. Like that's also a perfect one, right? Like people calling out sick, people wanting time off, people not wanting to help, right? People not coming in dress code. These are all the things that we probably think to ourselves, if this was working, if people were coming in and doing the work that was in front of them, if people were coming in dress code, if people were coming in on time, if people knew that there was a certain amount of time off, whatever it is, I'm always looking out for what is the system around it. Like we don't have to be deflated around these things. We don't have to be frustrated around these things. We have to have a system around it. And there's a process to creating a process, of course, right? So today I'm going to give you 5 steps. If there is a certain thing that you want to start addressing, I'm going to give you 5 different steps I want you to write this down. If you come here on Mondays, you know I'm always going to give you either 3 steps or 5 steps. So you should have a pen and a piece of paper. And so I want to just say that you're never going to show up in your business and it's going to feel perfect. Like there's always going to be things to work on, even the systems that you put in place. You're going to have to continue to work on. Before I give you these steps, I'm going to give you an example that I just thought of. So we are in our business obsessed with pre-booking. Okay. So to me, and this is something that I've preached for 25 years of teaching, that pre-booking, when you're pre-booking your clients, you're doing a few different things that are so positive for your business that if you don't have a high pre-book in your business, you're losing money, just period. And I'm well aware of that. When you're pre-booking the clients, you are, and you guys know this, you're ensuring that they come back to you. So you're breeding client retention. You're dictating the frequency of visit when the client comes in, right? So you're dictating that frequency of visit, and you're filling your books and ensuring that not only your staff have a paycheck, but that the salon has a paycheck in the next 5 weeks, 6 weeks. And the system around pre-booking isn't just, I'm going to get you booked. It's what is the frequency that you're going to book them in. So your haircut should be booked in what amount of time? Like for us, it's 5 to 6 weeks. Hair color, if it's a touch up, like each service has a specific time frame of when we would like the client to pre-book. And how we track that, because I don't always trust that my POS system is tracking the pre-books right. So we double down on the pre-books, and we print out a screenshot of the day. So we have the whole day up, we print a screenshot of the day. And as we're pre-booking the clients, we either put an X over whether if the client did not pre-book, or we put a check mark if they did pre-book, and the person that is pre-booking puts their initial on there. So at the end of the day, not only can we see that's factual, I'm hoping that the computer calculated it right, what percentage each of the stylists had for pre-book for that day, but also our guest relations team, part of their job description is pre-booking. And so I also want to see what their pre-book percentage. Okay, so we have this system around pre-booking to ensure that our clients come back in. And the only thing that was on that sheet of paper is a check mark, an X, and the initials. That's it. It's very simple. Then at the end of the day, we put it into a spreadsheet. And so we're kind of tracking that piece on our own. It may seem archaic to you, but there's some numbers in our PRS systems that I don't fully trust. So, okay. Um, so I started noticing that on that sheet, when I went in to work, and I was working the front a little bit, and I noticed that on that sheet there was X's and the checks, as we always have, and then there were these initials called OOT. And so I was like, I started inquiring. I'm like, what's OOT? And so the front desk coordinator said, oh, out of town. I said, well, why would you write OOT on the pre-book form? And she said, well, because then we don't put those in the calculation of what the pre-book percent is. Huh. Okay. That was never something that was a part of the system. So the system got evolved in a way that I personally was not aware of. And if that was brought to me, I would say, well, we don't need to write out of town unless you want to write it for your own knowledge. But either people pre-book or they don't pre-book. And if our goal is 70% of our clients pre-book, then 30% we're allocating for people that might be out of town, that may not want to schedule ahead of time, whatever their reasons are, right? And so that's a small example of a system that was in place that then started changing. And so we had to go back. This went on for months because I don't really work the front very much. And I happenstanced on it. So I had to go back a few months, and people get bonused on pre-booking. I had to go back and figure out when OOT started and recalculate what our pre-book percent was to see if those bonuses still stuck. So that's an example of a system we did have to increase productivity, but it went rogue and had to be reeled back in. So not all systems that you create are just you create them and you let them go and they manage themselves. They don't manage themselves. That's why we have A, managers, and B, accountability. So now, if you don't have a system in place to pre-book to ensure that your company is pre-booking at a 60 or 70% level, then that might be an operational system you may want to get on, because that is what I call low-hanging fruit. That's how we increase our income and our revenue, by something. We already have clients in our chair. How do we just get them to come in more often and pre-book their appointment? That's low-hanging fruit. That's something that we could start turning around and creating a process that our staff knows how to do, our front desk gets taught how to do, changing the vocabulary and the expectations of our clients and our own personal behaviors. So, okay, I could go on and on because there's a million systems that I could be talking to you about. But what today really is about operational efficiencies to elevate your business and to decrease the frustration of what your expectations are in your business and then what happens in reality. So I will tell you, people are not going to come in and read your mind. They are not going to be clairvoyant to say, let me do what Carrie wants to do. Let me figure out what the owner really wants, exactly how they want it done, and then create that program. That's not going to happen. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it, and I'm not going to be mad that I said it, and I'm not going to feel bad that I said it. If you have systems that are not following the protocol that you set out, it's a leadership issue. If you're going to set systems, strategies, processes, practices out to your team, you have to be prepared to enforce them, or you should just not even expend the energy to do it. Does that make sense? A lot of times when I'm talking to owners and leaders, their frustrations are that a process went south and people weren't continuing it. I just look at the owner or the leader and say, that's your fault. That's like if I tell my kid to go to bed and he doesn't go to bed, I go, well, he's just not going to bed. No, I got to go in and make sure that the lights are out, that the distractions are off, that, right? It's called leadership. It's called following through with what it is that you want to see happening in your business. If you want to create something that's bothering you, like, Jennifer, thank you for jumping in here. You put like people calling out sick or wanting time off. Um, I had uh, I had who said that? Brenna that said it's not my job. Who else has things that they are looking at in their business that they don't feel is going in the way they want it to go? Um, what's the system around that? Does your staff know what the system and the practices are around that? If they don't know that, and then what's the consequence then for not following it? Right? I think that's like another piece of when we're going to put something together and launch it to our team, we have to then also say to ourselves, am I willing to take a stand for this thing that I'm setting forth? If the answer is no, then don't choose something else, because I guarantee you when you set something forward, you set a new practice forward, guaranteed, it's going to challenge you. The people will challenge you, the system will challenge you, and you're going to have to keep like herding cats, right? Or keep bringing it back to the purpose of why we're doing it to begin with, and then reminding yourself of the why you're doing it, reminding the team of the why we're doing it, and continue to push forward. And maybe you alter it, adjust it, but you have to keep pushing forward if it's something that's that important to you. And some of the things that I rattled off, for me personally, for some people, it might not feel important. For me personally, super important that people follow dress code. Super important that people are up at the front, actually ready to receive the guests, that they answer the phone in a certain way, that people are doing their cleaning. Who wrote that? I keep forgetting my short-term memory. Bretta. That people are following up with their cleaning, and then who's following up on that? People aren't just going to walk in and be like, I'm going to clean all day. They're just not doing that. So let's step into reality, guys, and let's put together some processes that you can follow through on and start building your leadership muscle, which is follow through. So, all right, let me give you the steps because I could go on and on. All right. Step one, and I'm going to have a post on my Instagram tomorrow illustrating these processes. So I think it goes up tomorrow on these operational efficiencies. So if you didn't write it down, if you don't have a pen, if you're listening on the go, go to my Facebook page tomorrow, my Facebook and my Instagram post tomorrow. And these efficiencies or this steps to create a process are going to be on there. But for today, step one is, what is the issue? So that's step one. What's the issue that you want to resolve that's been bothering you, that you know has to be resolved, and you know that by resolving it, you will be following up on it. It will elevate your business. It'll be a win for you, a win for the team, and a win for the company, right? It'll be a win for the company, a win for the team, and a win for the client. So it has to be a triple win. So what is the issue? So you have to write down what is the issue that you want to address. And when I say that running a business and having operational efficiencies is a layered process, it's layered because it's one thing at a time. You're not going to go into a meeting and say, these are the 10 things that we need to elevate or fix. This is one thing, and there needs to be this one piece that you just focus on and get it moving. Then you can move to the next thing. Okay, so it's taking one layer at a time. So what's the issue? Have you noticed some areas where your processes could be smoother and more efficient and impact overall productivity? 2, what's the end result that you want? And I do this a lot for my team meetings. I do this when we are launching something new, which is I figure out what is it, that's step one, what's the issue, or what do I want to fix? Step 2 is, what do I want the end result to look like? That's a really important step 2. If you don't and can't see exactly what you want the end result to look like, it's going to take you a lot of time and be harder to build a process around it. because you want to take, well, what's the issue? What is my ideal scenario of how I want this point A to go to point B? And then filling in the middle is the easier part. So, one, what do I want to see different? Two, what do I want the end result to be like? What do I want it to look like? Step three, what's the process of how I'm going to get there? And under step three, there's a few things that I want to talk about. One is identify the pain point and pinpoint specific areas where the processes are slowing you down. So in the process that you're going to develop, you have to first identify what the pain points are of this is really creating your why, isn't it? Like, what are the pain points and what is the reason I really need to be doing this? Then it's good to get a few people. If you have a few people that are your educational directors, that's a lead, that's a manager, to brainstorm solutions and get creative juices flowing. The team can come together to generate ideas also. There's a saying that I always try to focus on, which is people support what they help to create. So that's going to be really important to get some ideas. That's part of the process. And then once you get what you think is going to be a good process, then develop and test it. Take one or two people and test that process to see if it's going to work. You might need to refine it and optimize it if it's not running the way you want it to run. But if this is something you're really committed to and you really want something to change, these are the steps. So based on the feedback of refining it, and you fine tune it. Now, refining, optimizing, and fine tuning might happen after you launch it to the whole team and you see that there are breakdowns or holes in it, okay, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. So after you figure out what the process is going to be, step 4 is to launch it. So then you're going to launch it to your team. And this is going to be the exciting part where you get to talk about what are the pain points? What is it that we are dealing with that's not working to have us operating at the highest level possible, right? And here are some solutions and the solution that we're going to move forward with. Or maybe you guys create that in the meeting and you have guidelines around the whole team creating those efficiencies because people support what they help to create. So maybe that's a route you want to go. Maybe you have guidelines around what you want the outside of that process to look like, and then the team can fill in the rest. So then they are creating the solution. When people create the solution, there's an easier time having buy-in with your team if they're helping to create what the process is. So 4, we were going to launch it. 5 is follow up. Follow up, follow up, follow up. If you're going to skip step 5, don't even expend the energy doing this. Your role as a leader is you stepping up and having the tough conversations if it's not going the way you want it to go. Yeah. News alert. I'm pausing so you can process that. Throw me some comments. What are your thoughts? All right. So follow up. So your team should expect regular check-ins and open communication to ensure everyone's on the right track. And what I always like to say to my team when we launch something new is, this is what I expect from you. This is what I expect from you. And this is what you can expect from me. And usually what they can expect from me is the support, maybe the support materials that they need in order to ensure they can get that launch done. Maybe it is ensuring they can count on me to be giving them feedback. They can count on me for the coaching. I let them know that ahead of time. So when I do have to coach or have a conversation or have to get something that they need, it's not a big surprise at all. So guys, let's just review. What's the issue? What's the desired end result? What's the process that you're going to create or your team will create? Launch it and follow up. I bet some of the things that you guys put in the comments today that are driving you insane is because you put a process together and you never had the tough conversations to make sure that these things are following through. are being followed through. Would you agree with that? Come on, let me know. So that's what I want you guys to think about, right? If we want smooth running salons, if we want to elevate where we are, we have to do the work. We have to show up and be a leader. That's how that works, guys. I know it's a bummer sometimes, but that's how it works, right? So you got to pull up your big girl panties or big boy panties, and you got to the follow up. I know is going to be the hardest part for some of you. I just know it. So listen, I am jumping on today to a webinar. I'm going to be a student today, which I love because we always have to keep learning. So as I close this out, Brenna, I love what Brenna said. So Brenna in this live had said that she has staff that weren't doing the cleaning. And she was super frustrated because they would say it's not my job. And after I just talked about it's our job as leaders to ensure that, she wrote, oh crap, it's on me. And Brenna, I want to just give you just so many props because step one is being able to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, you know what? I fucked up. I didn't follow through. I didn't get the job done. I didn't do what I needed to do after I launched this in order to have everything happen. So congratulations. Yes. And my final quote of the day speaks to that a little bit, Brenna. Here it is. This is by Ariana Huffington from the Huffington Post. This is one of her quotes. We need to accept that we won't always make the right decisions, that we'll screw up royally sometimes, and understanding that failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success. Ooh, I got the goosebumps. I just love, love, love this. So you guys, listen, I'll catch you next week. Drop me a note of what you want to talk about next week. All right. And, or I'll make it up if you don't drop me any notes, because you know I'm good at that because I have a lot of things to say. But I want to thank you so much for showing up every week. Some of you guys are here like religiously every week because, you know, it's getting on my pulpit time. And so I really, really appreciate you guys being here. You fill my heart. I hope you have an amazing week, and I can't wait to see you guys next week. All right. I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.